Welcome to the Being Your Own CEO Success Circle. And this morning we are going to talk about online scams. But first, let's do some introductions. So, Vivek, would you like to introduce yourself?
Namaste. My name is Vivekananda. Literally, it means wisdom and happiness. I am proud to share my belief with Steve Jobs and Leonardo da Vinci, who said, simplicity is the ultimate in sophistication. I aim to bring time tested wisdom and happiness together into your business and life by unifying, simplifying, and amplifying simple technology and tools. Together at Wake, we wake up our potential. So, yeah, that's my elevator pitch. At least as of now, it looks like just two of us here, but I am in Reading, England. Uh, the weather has been really good. It says 21 degrees centigrade. So,
Oh, right on. I don't know what it is here. Let me look. Uh, oh, according to my phone, it's only 13 degrees here.
oh,
Yeah. Now, I have to tell you something really strange. The news this morning said that the people up on the Arctic coast are having a heat wave.
oh
The
God,
temperature is up to 30 degrees up on the Arctic coast. That
that's
that is very unusual.
that's really bad.
Yeah, yeah. So that tells us that climate change is definitely happening. Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway, um, I should introduce myself. I'm Coach LowellAnn. I just love supporting retired third agers who are experiencing overwhelm, uncertainty, and procrastination as they take the first steps toward creating their online business. With my solopreneur coaching service, you can choose the level of support that makes the most sense to you. Done by you, done with you, or done for you. To find out more, be sure to visit my website at LowellAnn.com. So, this morning, oh, here is somebody. Who is it? That's Fred.
Oh,
Yeah. Fred is in California right now, I think. Fred, you're just in time to introduce yourself.
Wow. How about that? I'm Fred Jones, currently running from trying to get off my rowing machine in time to get here. I'm in California. Well, it's not my rowing machine, it's my daughter's rowing machine. And I'm normally in Victoria, but I'm in California at the moment visiting my daughter. And I'm the creator of Our Future Leaders, where we assist that younger generation to help them with those all important communication and leadership skills so they can help us make the world a better place, because we have lots of challenges today. So they're smart young people and we want to help them. So that's what I do.
Right on. Welcome
And
here, Fred.
I'm currently in Redlands, California. I don't know what the temperature is. It's been in the 30s, so I don't know, maybe 30 something again today.
Yeah.
Ate too much July 4th food. The people came over to my daughter and son-in-law's house with all sorts of food, and I overate yesterday. Oh, it
Oh,
was
so which
terrible.
is why you decided you had to be on the rowing machine this morning.
Exactly. Gotta burn
I
some of
got
those calories.
I got that. Wow. Isn't that, I mean, that is so so interesting. So we were going to talk about online scams this morning. And if I can find my notes that I wrote about a recent one that I experienced that I thought would be really interesting to some people, and I have it open somewhere, but everything seems to be um, um, disappearing. And here's Alana coming in, so that's good. Um, Good morning, Alana. You're just in time to introduce yourself.
I don't think she heard it. She was still. I don't
Yeah,
think she can even now hear us.
it's looking like she can't. Can you hear us, Alana? No.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
You're just in time to introduce yourself.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Alana here, coming to you from Ireland. My company's ALB Digital Marketing Solutions, where I write content and copy to increase sales and conversions.
Right on. And is it summer in Ireland?
Let me put it to you this way. It's what they call an Irish summer. Right,
What,
Vivek?
what does that mean?
It's an Irish summer is normally between 60s and maybe 70s if you're lucky, maybe. So what is it, 12 to 15 degrees
Yeah,
Celsius, I guess?
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it's not great. It's not great.
it's about the same here. It's only 14 degrees here. No, 13.
Although it says it's 23 here, so I don't know. It doesn't feel like 23 to me. I don't know.
Oh dear. Well, I'll repeat it again. I was just telling Vivek that on the news this morning, I heard that up on the Arctic coast, they're having a heat wave, and they're
Uh-oh.
having 30 degrees Celsius,
Oh no.
which is totally
That
unusual.
doesn't sound good. Yeah, that doesn't sound good at all.
No.
Yeah, when all that snow melts, we'll all be flooded.
Yes, that's right.
Half the continents will go away.
Well, the snow usually does melt up there in the summer, but what doesn't melt is the permafrost, which is the ground, and that's where that's the part that's dangerous to have it melt. Yeah, it's very interesting. Anyway, we're off our topic. We were going to discuss scams this morning, and I was hoping that all of us would share any of our own experiences. And so I thought I would start off by sharing a very recent experience that I had. Now I'm going to move this over so I can see, because I wrote the notes down because it was kind of detailed. So I got this message in Instagram from a guy that I know from some past employment experiences. And the message said, "Sorry for bothering you, but I was trying to log in my Instagram page on my new phone. and they asked me to find someone to help me receive a link. Instagram gave me suggestions for 2 friends, and you are one of them. The other is not online. Would you help me to receive the link, please? So I responded, "Greetings, Ralph. What do you need me to do?" And the response was, "Instagram is going to send you a link. Once you receive it, don't click it. Give me a screenshot of it, okay?" Now, the message came into my texting on my phone, okay? It said, then he said, "Did you receive the link?" And I responded, "Yes." And then he said, "Give me a screenshot of the link, please. Please, I'm on my knees." And I said, "Can't get a screenshot. I for some reason I wasn't able to take a screenshot of that text message. I don't know why, because I usually can. Anyway, the next thing said, "What phone do you use, please?" And I answered, "Pixel." And then the response was, "OMG, can you write it and send it to me?" And I responded, "Before I answer any more questions, tell me where we met." And he responded, "Is that why you don't want to send me the link? It's fine if you don't want to help me. You have forget me so quickly." Bad English, big clue. I responded, "I need you to say where we met." He responded, "BC, British Columbia, in other words." And I responded, "Not enough, goodbye." And he responded, "Okay, you don't trust me. It's fine. Why are you acting so wicked to me?" It's kind of funny. But so what I did about that was because I had worked with Ralph before, I had his email address, and I emailed him to let him know that I thought somebody was using his name and his Instagram account. And he responded saying, "You're not the first person who has come back and told me that, but I don't know what to do about it." So I did a little bit of research, and I discovered that when you open your Instagram account, your own profile, there's a little thing that looks like a circle with or a gear beside it. And when you click on that, it gives you a whole lot of options. And one of them is report a problem. So there is where he would be able to go in and report that problem. Now, I have had that same kind of thing happen in Facebook. I don't know whether any of the rest of you use Facebook. I use Facebook because it's my way of staying in touch with the people I knew in the North. And when you go into Facebook, sometimes you'll see somebody that you're connected to posting. You will see somebody is trying to get you to do such and such. It's not me. Don't do it. So that seems to be common in the Facebook world, because Instagram is owned by Facebook. So I'm wondering whether any of the rest of you have had any kind of weird experiences that you felt kind of uncertain about. So, Fred, would you like to describe it?
Yeah, it was in Facebook, in fact, and I got a message from a very elderly man who I've known in Toastmasters, and he was saying hello, hello. I thought, well, I wonder why he's saying hello. So I responded, and he said, "Oh, I've got this, whatever it was, something for elderly people, and they can get free. There's free money for something, whatever it was." And so I responded and ultimately wrote to the guy and said, "It looks like you've stolen Harvey's," because Harvey's very elderly guy, and the fact that he reached out to me, I thought, well, maybe because we've known each other and we've spoken. But eventually, I went down the rabbit hole with the guy a little bit, and I said, "Okay, well, you're just trying to scam me." I said, "Why don't you get a decent job and try and make money legally?" And that's what I responded to him, and never heard again from Harvey.
Right.
And I didn't even write to Harvey and say, "Look, somebody's
Right.
impersonating you," because that would only confuse him anyway, and he wouldn't know what to do. Neither did I. But
Right.
yeah, exactly that sort of situation. What they were trying to do, I have no idea. I didn't get very far with the guy because I just thought, no, I don't. There was something that made me suspicious, and then eventually I wrote to him that he was a scammer, and
Yeah.
I'm not interested.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're out there.
Well, so the big thing is to pay attention and use your your own logic, I guess. Another thing that pops up for me is quite often I get in my inbox, I get people sending me emails with links. You could get this and this and this, go here, blah, blah, blah. One thing I never ever do is click a link inside an email. And I've learned that the way to handle that is to copy that link that they provide in the email, open a browser tab and paste it in there, and you can usually tell. That will tell you because what you get from in the browser tab will tell you quite often it's something that's not available. Or
You mean paste it there, and before you hit enter, just read it.
Say again?
You copy the link from the email
Yes.
into the browser tab, but
Yes.
don't hit the enter. Don't really
Oh,
go
I
there.
do.
Just
I do that. I hit the enter, and what will come up will tell you that
But
this is some
that's
kind
what
of a
I'm saying.
bogus
You should
whatever.
not. No,
Why?
that's what I'm saying. You should not even hit enter there. As soon as you paste the link there, you will see what that link says. If it in many cases, the link, the email pretends to be from some well-known company or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Could be even pretending to be from your bank.
Yeah.
That's the most popular one. May
Yeah.
pretend to be from your
Oh
bank.
yeah, because when you put it up there, you
You can see what actually it is.
Yeah.
In plain text, you will see what it is, and then if you before you hit enter, you need to check: is it actually? Let's say it's pretends to be from your bank. Then if you paste it there on the browser bar, make sure that it is actually from your bank
Yeah.
before you hit enter.
Yeah. But I have hit the enter, and what pops up usually tells me that it is
Yeah,
not
but
it's not a legitimate
sometimes-
thing.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it can be too late. If you hit enter, it can be
Ah. That's a good thing to think about. Yeah.
Don't hit enter.
Yeah.
Look at the address and see if all of it is legible,
Yeah.
as in
But
English,
yeah,
and
quite often
readable and
that
logical for what you
yeah,
think it is going to be. If it is
yeah,
not,
yeah. Well,
cancel the whole thing.
and quite often, you can you can spot problems even in the email because proper English is not used quite often.
Yeah.
There are grammar mistakes and spelling mistakes and all kinds of things like that. So that's another thing to recognize.
Hmm.
Um, I can mention another thing that I'm certain is a scam. So I quite often play solitaire on my phone while I'm listening to the radio. And it's the Microsoft Solitaire thing has ads that pop up. And there's one ad that pops up all the time, which I think is just hilarious. One guy is talking to another guy and saying, "What are you doing?" And the other guy says, "I'm playing a game. I can make $50 for every time I play this game." So I think you sort of know that that one is that one is a scam as well. So anybody else experience anything different? Yeah. Alana.
So there's a scam going on around here. It's from On Post. So that's our mail carrier, On Post. And a couple of the groups that I'm in on Facebook have been complaining that they're getting these messages by text to say that they owe customs fees for packages and all that. And then they post the link in there and say, "Is this legitimate? Blah, blah, blah." And everybody normally chimes in and says, "No, it's a scam." And you can tell because the website, the legitimate one is called onpost.ie. But these websites are packages.onpost.ie, which doesn't exist. So what I do when I get stuff like that is I normally do a Google search on the domain name to see if it's real or legitimate.
Right.
But so that's one of them that's going around. That's still going around here. I mean, I see stuff like that almost every day.
Mm-hmm.
But the banking one is a scary one because I got a message from my bank not too long ago. It was a text message. And I knew it was a scam, so I just kind of ignored it. I don't remember what it was. My daughter got one because we're all in the same bank. And hers said that she was going to be locked out of her account if she didn't, and her account was going to be frozen, blah, blah, blah. So she called me and asked me what to do. And I said, that actually sounded legitimate to me. So I said, "Oh, you better do something about that," because they normally don't text you. And then I think she was in the process of entering in the information when she just got wigged out and she just felt something was off.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't complete the transaction, and luckily she didn't get cleaned out. But that one was going around too, where they were cleaning out your account if you went to the link and entered in all your information.
I can't imagine a bank ever doing that. And if they were going to do something like that, something official, they would send you a letter.
Yeah, well, the other thing too was I had to make a change on my account, and I could only do it by mail. So I sent in the form,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a text message from the bank to say, "Oh, we set up your new account with blah blah blah." And I'm going, "Oh, that's great." And so my husband kind of freaked out, and he's going, "That's a scam. That's a scam." And I said, "No, actually, this time it's not. I sent in a form." So that was actually legitimate, and they did send me a text, which I was very surprised about.
Right. Well, and you get text messages lots of times. I get lots of text messages from various companies or organizations that I deal with. But usually they don't ask you to do anything. They just give you information. And so that, that's not an issue. So now, Vivek, are you going to talk about that one that you got?
Yeah, but Fred, I think, raised his
Oh,
hand.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Fred, go ahead.
Well, I've got a couple more that keep coming. Yeah, just the other day I got one from the Canada Post saying that they couldn't deliver a parcel or something. But there was nothing in there that indicated they even know my mailing address. They know nothing. The only thing that was accurate in there was my email address. That's all. Everything else was,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not expecting anything anyway. I don't get mail,
Right.
so it was just nonsense, absolute
Mm-hmm.
nonsense. And
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know what they're after. I just deleted that. So there's a couple of those. One that kept coming around was Norton, an account from Norton. I must have got a dozen emails from different email addresses, but all professing to be from Norton,
Oh,
where
that,
security.
yeah.
And they said, "Oh, we have billed your account so much money, $100 and something, and we just wanted to confirm that. But if you have any questions about this, phone this number." And it was an 800 type number, but the weird thing was I must have got a dozen of these from a little bit different email address. It said Norton, but at the end it was something else. It was crazy. I thought, how dumb, but they got to make money out of it. Somebody's got to fall for it.
Yeah.
And they probably, I don't know what they do when you phone the number, probably say, oh, yeah, we've got it. We just need to check your credit card number or whatever they're fishing
Mm-hmm.
for.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. I mean, I think the audacity of doing it, but I mean, a dozen of them, within a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Think, okay, really? You've billed me a dozen times for some account that I really don't have? That's terrible. And there is one question that I do have that you might be able to help me. On one of my websites, I keep getting I don't know how many. I've had 14,774 people sign up as users for me over the years now. Some days it's like 100 people signing up and it's all scam users and I just delete them.
Yeah.
But there's got to be a better way. I tried once to find something on WordPress and I tried to implement it and I thought, oh, I've stopped it now. It didn't stop them. They're
Well,
still.
isn't there a way, Vivek? Maybe you remember, or Alana, you as well. Isn't there a
Yeah.
way within WordPress to choose that a user has to be um, verified or accepted by the owner? I think there's a
Yeah.
setting. I think there's a setting in there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the general settings. And if I recall, I haven't been in my website in quite a while, but if I recall, there's a way you can actually turn off
Mm-hmm.
registering users. And that's what I did. So no one can actually register to be on my website. So I don't even think they can leave a comment. But I remember when I had a blog, they could leave a comment, but they couldn't register as a user.
Right.
So there is something in there, and I don't know if it's in one of the sections where it's
All right.
It's under
yeah,
settings.
check in your general settings. It's in there.
Okay.
It's definitely
Yeah.
in there. Just you
Yeah.
you can just turn that off.
Yeah, okay, that sounds like it. Because I'm not really looking for users anyway. But I don't know. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. I mean, I can get 100 of them a day still. Some days, I just go in and delete them
Yeah.
all.
Well,
Okay,
the other thing that I get
thanks.
on my website is in the the contact us section. There are people who are going in and leaving advertisements in the contact us thing,
Mm.
Yeah,
and
I've had that once in a while.
yeah. And unless you don't want people to contact you, I mean, I'm not certain there's really much you can do about that except just delete it. Yeah.
You can put a captcha in it
Yes, a
where people have,
captcha. Yes, you're right.
yeah, that would solve that problem.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
By the way, hi.
Hi. So we're talking about all the little scams that we're all experiencing.
Oh, I
Yeah.
actually wrote about a book about this years ago.
Yeah. So
And
Vivek was about to share his recent experience.
Um, my experience, it was a scary one to start with. um, and it I wouldn't say it's an online scam, but it's more of a phone scam, phone based scam.
Phishing. Okay.
um, I have or had a caller ID app set up on my phone, um, and I received a phone call claiming to be from HMRC, Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs.
Yeah.
And the person at the other end was saying that he's an inspector of police or something like that, and he was saying that I haven't paid the taxes, so he thousands of pounds and all that, and he gave me kind of two choices: either to come to the police station and surrender myself, or he will send the police to my address to arrest me. I said I'll come and surrender. I told him that and closed the call. And then then I went on to HMRC's website and then contacted them using their phone number. I called them and asked them, is this what's going on? And they said, no, nothing like that is going on. So
No. So you can be sure that any of those places are not going to not if they're going to do anything official, they're going to send you a letter. They're not going. They're not going to phone you.
Even then, the letter could be a scam. I mean, I kept getting contacted by the Revenue Canada scammers who are almost always from India. And they would give me complicated names and stuff like that. But at one point, I thought, I've had enough of this. It's time to scam the scammers. So they would ask me for stuff, and I would just feed them a load of bullshit. And then they would look it up. Like this one time I did it with, I used the name Israel Florence. And they told me, oh, you're owing X amount of this and that. I said, you guys are such suckers. You're such fools. Israel Florence was my grandfather who died in 1973. So please spare me the bullshit. And there was another time that, and you guys would really appreciate this because I did it. And years ago, I was in Mexico. I was on the Baja. I was looking for a place to live. Responded to an ad, and I'm on it with this really weird response, and I couldn't make head nor tail of it, by a guy who called himself Reverend John Toney. And my girlfriend at the time saw it, and she said, oh, you've been targeted by a scammer. Let's have some fun. So it was all about me sending this person money through Western Union, stuff like that. And that's where I started using the finest of the bullshitting techniques with this scammer. And among other things, I said, well, I'm living in La Paz. It's a tiny town in Mexico. We don't have a Western Union. There was all this stuff. And they asked me for all this stuff about my name. I said I was Damien Douglas, that I lived in hell, and all this crap. And the scammer fell for it and started calling me Damien after that. This went on for like 2 days, just so you know. All this back and forth crap. And I'm just then going, oh, no, sorry, we don't have a, Western Union, blah, 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 can't do that, And I just shamelessly bullshitted this scammer. And it just kept going on and on and on. This scammer was such like a quick side note. Years ago, I also in the same area, I had a friend who worked in the mining industry. And every time he got a stupid question, he would say, I need to talk to Mr. Dumas. And after he told me this story like 3 or 4 times, I finally looked at him and said, Rick, who's Mr. Dumas? And he said, dumbass. So anyway, getting back to my story. So I just kept bullshitting the scammer and said, sorry, we don't have a Western Union. I'm going to have to do a bank transfer and blah, blah, blah. And in order for me to do this, I need your bank accounts.
Yeah.
Much to my amazement, I believe it or not, the scammer was like Mr. Dumas, okay? and fell for it completely and gave me all the banking information that I needed. That's when I found out that the scammer had 2 bank accounts at Chase Manhattan and Yonkers, New York, 2 bank accounts with all the transfer information. That's when I found out that Reverend John Tony was none other than LowellAnn Hernandez. So, and the other thing I did with this whole scamming thing is I did a reply to, so I had a long running email, right?
Yeah.
And this was all in Yahoo Messenger. So right after that, I sent a message to abuse, I think, at Yahoo Messenger or Yahoo. And then I called Chase Manhattan and I asked them for their information. I said, I've got a scammer here, and sent them the entire thing. And after that, Reverend John Tony, AKA LowellAnn Hernandez, vanished like a puff of smoke, and I never heard from him or her again. But you guys would appreciate that. It's called scamming the scammer.
Yeah.
And when I talked to a buddy of mine who's a programmer, he said, he started laughing, and he said, do you realize that you use social engineering? Do you realize that you're a hacker? And I'm going, what do you mean I'm a hacker? He said, you hacked this woman. You hacked the scammer. You traced her all the way back to the source, and you made mincemeat out of this person. He said, you're a hacker, my friend.
Well,
So there's some humor for you.
well, there used to be. Remember when you used to get a lot of the really weird phone calls, and I've heard many people say that they would try to keep them on the phone as long as possible.
Oh, yeah. There's that.
And or just put the phone down and leave the line open so they couldn't do anything.
There's that. I mean, there was one that I heard about that I never actually did, where people would get air horns, and they'd wind up with a scammer on the air horn, and they just let off the air horn into the mouthpiece, deafen the person on the other end.
Yeah.
It never called back. But in the case of the Revenue Canada scammers, once I found out who they were, I started calling them, and I really pissed them off. They blocked me in every way under the sun. Don't ever call this guy again. He's a troublemaker. And it's like, yeah, I'm a troublemaker. I didn't have anything else better to do, so I was scamming the scammers, putting the screws to them and just giving them royal shit. Anyway, it was fun.
Go ahead, Fred.
If you ever want to laugh, I can't remember, but very similar. There's a TED Talk where this fella spoke about the guy who was trying to sell him gold or something.
Yeah,
it is
I know
hilarious.
Who you're talking about. It's really funny.
It is hilarious. And then he eventually says, you only want a few $1 million for this gold? Well, let's go big. What's the biggest thing? And he was dragging this guy along. It was hilarious because he was showing the emails that they were exchanging.
Yeah.
You know, and he had, like you did, you know, you used another name, but he used such a funny name. And this guy in Nigeria was trying to say, oh, I got a big one, a big fish on the hook here. He doesn't want just $1 million. He wants millions and millions of dollars worth of gold, you know.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I've watched, he did a couple of TED Talks on that.
Did
and they were really funny.
Yeah.
So you reminded me of him, Nathan, as you were talking.
I mean, it had to do with my girlfriend. She this is a couple of times when I was with this woman, we would do this thing of egging it on. Because there was one time when had nothing to do with that, but it had to do with at my apartment building. There's somebody who would always park beside me, and a hardcore vegetarian, right? And had it on a bumper stickers like something like something to do with choose compassion. Try vegetarian.org, and it really annoyed me, right? So I made a bumper sticker of my own using CorelDRAW, and I taped it to my car, and then I did a 3-minute video on it, put it on YouTube, and I wound up with a lot of laughs and death threats and everything else. But I basically wrote on my bumper sticker, choose to be a barbarian. And then I said, like in big characters, eat meat. And then I had a picture of a hamburger. And then I did this video using my little point and shoot camera. And man, I got a lot of laughs. So, well, every now and then it's kind of fun to put the screws to people.
Yeah.
So, and So, but the bit with the scammer, this guy that you're talking about, his name escapes me. He was an Englishman. I remember that. He had very high voice, glasses, but he was a comedian, and
Yeah.
but he was very well rehearsed, and he had it down to a science, and it was just brilliant, brilliantly funny.
Now I have to mention something else that I thought was a scam and turned out it wasn't.
Yeah,
So
there's that.
I think I had paid for it might have been a plug-in or something. And I
Yeah,
had notes. I had notes that told me that I had sort of withdrawn because I wasn't going to use that anymore, etc. But then I got notification that, or I think I saw it. I did. I saw it when I was checking out my credit card account. There was a charge from this
right.
company,
And you didn't
and
recognize it, didn't you?
well, I recognized it. So
Oh,
I recognized the company, but my own notes said that I had canceled that,
uh,
and
yeah,
there had been a charge. So I went to their website and I did the pieces that I needed to do. Obviously, something wasn't right there, but I also sent them a message on their website
yep,
and basically said that my own notes said that I had canceled that, and so I wasn't certain how, and this would have been some time ago, several months ago. So I mean I didn't remember. My own notes just said I had canceled it,
yeah,
and this company came back and said we will reverse that charge immediately, and
yeah. That's nice.
the money showed up in my account the next day.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, every now and then that happens. It's happened to me too.
Yeah.
The one that happened to do with these scammers recently that almost caught me had to do with getting a notification to do with some sort of virus protection program or something like that. But it was a name that was very similar to a company that I dealt with a couple of years ago.
That's what
And this,
Fred was describing, that
yeah,
exact
and
situation. Yeah.
yeah, and it freaked me out for a little bit, and I just and there was all this stuff about charges being applied, and the very first thing that I did, like it freaked me out, and I thought, uh-oh, and it was giving a number and everything else, and fortunately my reason kicked in very quickly and going, wait a second, no, 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 I'm not calling these bricks because it might be a scam. So I called my hosting company,
Mm-hmm.
and sure enough, there was nothing on there. And when we had the conversation, it's like, oh, this is a scam. It's like, oh, thank you so much. Because even though I've got a lot of experience in spotting scams, every now and then something will catch me. But luckily, thankfully, most of the time, reason kicks in and goes, wait, because they give a number, right? And you go, you do not want to call that number. You do not want to fill out that form. None of that crap. You instantly close it down and call the bank
Yeah.
or whoever.
Yeah.
And I've had this happen several times, but every time I call who I'm supposed to call, like PaPal or my bank or someone else, hosting company, inevitably I find that nothing's happened. It's like, I've been contacted by a phishing scam or something like that.
Yeah.
And even when you're really experienced, it's really, I mean, I got nailed by a virus the other day. Fortunately, my software alerted me to it almost immediately at the time. And I went into my hard drive and cleared it out, did a whole bunch of searches, used Trend Micro's house call to do a scan of my hard drive and a couple of other things, and everything was fine. But it scared me for a little bit because I'm super careful with that stuff. Like if I see an unknown email, I just delete it. I don't care. If it's really important, they'll contact me back. But
Right.
I mean, Gmail's really good for filtering out a lot of scams, but some of the other programs I use are not.
Right.
And
Yes.
the worst one that could come through would be ransomware. That would be the absolute worst that you could get. And I'm sure all of
Yes.
you know
Oh,
that.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
there's another scam. I haven't seen it for a while, but there was one that came in from. It would tell you that they came in from another country, and
okay.
this person inherited some money
Oh, the
or
Nigerian scam.
the inheritance, and I need
Oh,
you
that
to,
one.
I got an inheritance, and if you can open up your bank and do such and such, we can yeah. And I haven't seen that one for a while. That one seems to have disappeared.
I saw a couple the other day. I just, I've been tempted to respond to some of them, but
Don't waste your
actually, there
time.
was one time I saw one that really annoyed me when I saw it, and I sent them I've, more often than not, common sense kicks in and I don't
Yeah.
do anything.
Yeah,
But every now and then I get annoyed and I send something, but very rarely
yeah,
with those at any rate.
yeah.
But the other thing that's been happening, like in the Telegram groups that I'm a part of, there's a lot of scamming going on, always to do with Bitcoin or some other investment.
Oh, yes. I'm sure there'd be a lot there. Yeah,
Yeah, there are a ton of them. And fortunately, pretty much everybody in the group is wise to this stuff, or groups rather, and it gets deleted pretty quickly and the person gets banned who did it.
yeah.
Yeah, but it is really, I mean, my ex-girlfriend got stung by a phone scam and they took over her computer, did massive damage to it, cost her hundreds of dollars.
That's ransomware, isn't it?
It wasn't ransomware, it was somebody calling her.
Oh,
And she installed software on her computer and they just
Oh.
trashed her machine
oh,
and it cost her hundreds. And I said, Carol, why the hell didn't you call me?
yeah,
You know that I know this stuff. Why did you listen to this idiot?
yeah.
And she didn't have an answer for me. But
Right.
no, by the time it was done, she had paid them some money, lost several hundred in repairs.
Oh,
Just like,
yeah,
good God, Carol, why didn't you call me?
yeah,
And I would have told you, like, hang up on this Postal
yeah.
and
No
block them.
kidding. Yeah. So,
Well,
Alana, I saw you waving.
yep.
Yeah, so it's not just coming through like mail accounts and that sort of thing, because my daughter got scammed on Upwork.
Oh, Upwork.
She is traveling and she wanted to work from her computer and earn a little extra money while she's traveling. So she signed up on Upwork and then she contacted me to say, oh, I have a really great job opportunity, blah, blah, blah. She told me all about it. And then she said, all I had to do was pay €30 registration fee. And I went, oh, no, you didn't. Tell me you didn't pay that. And she said, yes, I did. And I said, you're never going to hear from them again. And if you do, they're going to ask you for more money. I said, you never, ever, ever pay for a registration to sign up with a company. I said, you don't do that. So I said, you should really try to get your money back. I don't know what she ended up doing because, she's moved around to a few different countries. So I'm sure she probably thought it's only €30. I don't care.
Yeah.
Well,
But I'm
30
sure
bucks
she didn't
is
do
not,
it again.
it really depends on the nature of the payment. Like whenever I pay for something, even if I know the company is legit, I almost always try to use PaPal
Yes.
because there's payment protection for that. And the other thing is I do my damnedest to never use my debit Visa, because I know there's no protection that way.
That's what she did. She used her debit card.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there.
that's
I don't
why.
think she has a PayPal. I don't think she has a PayPal. She has a Revolut account, a Revolut card, but not a PayPal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here is something that we need to go into a little bit more.
Yeah,
So
sure.
when you want to buy something, whether it's an electronic, whether it's digital or physical or whatever, and there's a lot of WooCommerce sites, etc., that will ask you to put in your credit card information onto their website. That is the worst thing you can do, and I don't know why some people resist using PayPal. But if if you only use PayPal to pay whatever you're doing, then there's that extra layer of protection in there that you will not get from some
Yeah.
website. And I'm not saying that all companies that create that set things up that way are going to do you in. But what happens if somebody scams or gets into their website and
Yeah.
pulls out that information? You're way better to keep everything you do in one place that has that extra layer of protection.
Yeah. Whenever possible, I use PayPal.
Yeah, I
There have
do.
been a couple of times where I haven't been able to use it, but I also knew the seller.
Yeah,
Um, I
yeah,
mean, they were friends of mine. They weren't
yeah.
like an unknown entity. So there was that. I rarely have trouble with that. I've been scammed a few times, but not very often and not
Well,
for large amounts. I ran into a
I've
major,
never been scammed by or ever had any issue with PayPal. I know some
yeah,
people think that PayPal is not honest or whatever, but my experience is that PayPal has
actually,
has
yeah.
and I've never had anything happen
I,
that shouldn't have happened that I didn't direct it to
yeah,
do.
I had an
PayPal
issue. I had
PayPal
an,
is one thing, but the other major difference is never use a debit card.
No,
if possible, don't use it. I
Always
agree
use
never.
a
with you.
credit card. When you use a credit card, the credit company or the bank,
Yeah,
they have to take care of you. If
Yes.
you
that's true.
say that I didn't do this transaction or this I don't recognize this transaction, then they have to reverse it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whereas if it is a
agreed.
debit card, once your
You
No,
can't do
money is
anything
gone
about
from
it.
your account, that's it, done, finished.
yeah,
You
the other
have no
one,
longer have any control over it.
and the other one to never use is Western Union. That like these scammers that I encountered, like especially property. Like what was interesting about it when that happened a number of years ago, me and my girlfriend, as part of our, scamming the scammer, the guy gave us the property. And so we went there and we found that it was a real property, but there was a for sale sign. And we're thinking, there's something weird about this. And they would say, we're going to give you the keys, blah, blah, blah. But that's all part of the scam. I ran into it in Victoria too. And I kept trying to find out where this thing was so I could look at it. And of course I couldn't. And I finally realized I was being scammed and just, let it go. But in La Paz, I mean, the property was for real, but there was for sale sign. I'm going, something's wrong. But my girlfriend was going, I've seen this before. And that's where we wound up doing this scam, the scammer. But it was a very interesting thing. But like I said, it took about 2 days of work and me using every bullshit con game that I could ever imagine on this person, even though I'd had no experience doing it. But I realized, I don't know, I just knew what to do. And I smoked this person out. And later, my buddy's telling me, you're a hacker.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said you use social engineering and all this. I'm going, really? But that's what social engineering is about.
Nathan, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to know where you are in Mexico, because the last place you were, it was an amazing town. Are you still there or you moved?
I'm still here. I'm in Ajijic.
Yeah.
I've got a really good condo rental
Yeah.
that I wound up getting as a result of posting on the Telegram group. Met some really nice people.
Yeah.
At the time, I was only able to stay here for 12 days. When they sent me the photos, I thought, you must be kidding. It can't be that nice. And then I walked in and then my jaw hit the floor and it yeah, it is that nice. And
It really sounds like a great place with lots of functions going on, lots of
there's a lot.
interaction. Sounds like a wonderful spot you're in Mexico.
It's pretty decent.
Actually, asking you a question, this may be way off thing, but
Try me.
my family is talking about like the Australian, the Californian, and the Canadian, because I got family all over, saying they want to
Cool.
have a big get together, and they were talking about Mexico somewhere, and
Yeah,
renting a B&B somewhere, and all the family there next year sometime. So
Yeah.
if you know of any suggestions, I don't need them now. But just
Oh, I
you know,
don't.
Just
I don't
think
know
about
anything
it.
off the top of my head, but
Yeah,
well,
but if you ever
actually,
come across something and you say,
actually,
look
wait
into
a
this.
second.
Um,
Wait a second. I do know
could
something.
could we just wait until after
Yeah,
we
yeah,
finish
yeah.
this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I said not now. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this conversation doesn't belong here. So
no worries.
it sounds like
Um,
we've come to the end of what we need to say. And so I'm going to remind everyone that it's important to do what you love with passion. And we will see you again on August the 2nd. Topic to be decided. Okay, so now I'm going to hit the Alt 4 button.